Massenomics. Welcome to Massenomics, the world's strongest podcast. Find us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Massenomics. Make sure you go visit Massenomics.com. There you'll find the rest of our powerful content. While you're there, check out our store and buy yourself some of that sweet Massenomics gear.
Ready?
All right, dudes, welcome to this episode of the Massenomics podcast. We are joined today to my left with Tommy.
What's up?
And across the way is Tanner.
Hello, everyone.
Say hi to the camera.
Hello, camera.
And I am Tyler. This week we are going to talk about a subject very near and dear to our hearts here at Massenomics, and that is the topic of seriousness.
Seriousness.
Getting serious.
Getting serious. I would say Big Shane has owned that statement for quite some time. It's time to get serious.
Yeah, he's owning that department of seriousness.
He says, "Let's get serious on a daily basis." That's usually the first thing out of his mouth is something about seriousness.
And then he usually wants to ask your level of seriousness for the day too.
So how serious are you guys getting today?
I did go to the gym.
I went to
got
the
serious.
gym too. You know,
got serious?
I got serious with some overhead press.
a Sunday gym session is almost non-existent in my world, and I made that happen today. So
I also did a Sunday gym session and did almost nothing.
So seriousness
was not on the agenda today. Today what I did was I did like 6 sets of 10 with the Swiss bar at 225 on the bench, and then some curls, and then I was like, peace out. But I had to do something before I went and slaved away at the new CrossFit gym for fucking 11 straight hours.
So you got serious there.
You did
I
have
got serious. Yeah, the seriousness happened there.
some serious work, maybe not serious working out.
You can come in. Just don't bump the camera.
And just
No, just go ahead.
you have to now.
No one's gonna see you.
Well, you're wearing a
Look-
Massenomics shirt. That's
Yeah,
actually...
we'll zoom in. We'll zoom in on Tommy's, so we don't have to see that you're not
Actually,
wearing makeup.
funny thing, just to show how caring and loving of a person Tyler is, before the podcast started, he said, hold up, dad stuff.
And
And,
then
he licked his finger and then rubbed my face because I had apparently a smash bug on my face, and that's how dedicated Tyler. Tyler's going to be starting our makeup department pretty soon is what I'm trying to get at here.
We're gonna have to start having hair and makeup with my busted ass hairline.
Are you? Well, what you need to start doing, like LeBron James with his headband, that your headphones,
just
you
keep
need to
going.
start
Can we-
like cover. There you go. That's how you need to do it.
I also need.
Yeah.
I feel like the yarmulke was invented simply to cover where my bald spot is right now.
I think LeBron shaved it all off, though.
I don't think he has yet,
I think just after the season got done here. I think they just
did,
lost,
like-
and I think he shaved it all down.
because
He
that was
like bicked it down. Like,
I think bald.
because that
shaved.
was a quote he made this year, like because he was talking about how he, his whole life he's kind of tried to be like MJ, wanted to wear number 23.
let's get serious.
And that the only thing that he didn't do like MJ is he hasn't shaved his head.
See, I
So-
think that's what happened. Matt told me, and Matt is what you would call a big LeBron fan. So I'm gonna take his word for it.
Matt, Mr. Greensleeves.
Mr. Greensleeves.
I actually asked Megan to bring down the mouse for my laptop because my hand is not meant for the pad.
Oh, no one's hand is.
And apparently that means bring down all of the beers too. So she's looking out for us.
You know, I actually tried last night.
Actually, it's because it's Father's Day. I think is
Oh,
what it
Yeah,
is.
that's probably why. I'm not a father yet. I'm a father to this little
I
baby
mean, not
called
that- not-
Massenomics.
Founding father.
I was gonna say not that you know. Surprise.
yeah.
A founding Massenomics father.
Yeah, well, I count that.
So let's get serious about the topic of seriousness.
Serious.
Yes. Seriousness is not something to be taken lightly.
Where do we want to start in this conversation about seriousness? How do we want to, let's just go with gym, your general gym vibe. How serious is you walk into the gym, are you a guy who is just all business the whole time? Are you where is seriousness a constant thing with you while you're training?
Okay, serious in the gym is a really interesting thing, and I'm one of those guys that the reason I go to the gym is because it's fun, and I like it, and it's self-improvement, and just that alone makes me like the gym.
Because I don't think you should hate your self-improvement process. That seems like a good way to not stay with it.
Yeah, I don't even, that just doesn't make sense.
I gotta get angry and
Yeah.
fucking.
But yeah, that's not to say now that like when I have things programmed and I do put some like,
Seriousness.
I do put some, that is the perfect word there.
Sprinkle a little seriousness.
Yeah, that word's going to get said a lot.
Yeah,
of times
I actually, Tanner, do you have to watch every minute of this when you edit the video?
No, sometimes do you want me to count the seriousness?
Yeah, could you count how many times the word seriousness or
serious,
is
any
said?
version of serious.
Any version of serious is said.
Yeah.
And then we could put that like in the notes. That
Yeah, for sure.
We say
Yeah.
serious.
It's like that. You ever seen an episode of
496
South Park where
yeah,
they
where
said
they
shit?
ding,
Yeah, and it just keeps
All
going.
right, before we go any further, what's your guys' bet on how many times the word serious or seriousness is used today?
Well, my guess is probably a couple times per minute, and this is 60 minutes, so I don't know, 100 and some.
I'm gonna go with 195.
I'll go 196.
I'll go.
If you 194 me,
Yeah, no, I was gonna go like 160.
that's a good way to.
I was thinking 200 as my guess.
That's a
so
good way
about
to
the same.
establish a solid over under and just make sure Tyler doesn't win.
Yeah. Prices
So
right.
so Tommy, your seriousness is basically, it's not that there's none.
No, and there actually, I mean, there is probably a decent amount of seriousness. Like when I'm going for a heavy lift, like okay, I say I like to have fun in the gym, but when I'm going for a heavy lift, I cannot be that guy that's like joking and laughing and then walks
And
right
then
over.
doing
And
it.
I know there's several guys in the gym that before a PR set can. Literally, Shane can be like talking to someone about how serious they're getting, like having this dumb conversation we do, like on a 1 to 10, how serious are you right now? And like I've seen people like smiling and be like a 7, and then go hit a PR. Like I cannot do that. Like I need anywhere from 10 seconds to a minute to just kind of get focused and get serious before I can do it. And that's like, and then as soon as that's done, it's woo, and then it's like laughing, having a good time.
And I would say, Tommy, you do that. I would say quite a bit too, where you'll do your thing. You're pretty much, you'll fuck around, but your seriousness happens only in the, I'm going to say 30 seconds to a minute.
Yeah, it's just that ritual.
Before like an attempt that really matters. You probably can get through a lot of your attempts where you don't have to do that though.
Oh, no, not
like,
yeah, it is.
Like I'm probably the same way that like, I don't have to get serious.
Yeah.
Until it's time to get serious. And
Yeah.
it's not always time to get serious.
Yeah, but part of that getting serious is that whole thing of like having a ritual, like your repeatable things that you do that help you kind of get in the zone. And for me, that's usually like walking a little ways away from the platform, just kind of like keeping my head down to just kind of be in my own zone, get my wrist wraps how I want them, get my belt on, and then get to the platform. And like that's like what I need to get ready. And that's not what all people need, but for me, that's like gets me in that right level of seriousness to attack, to go to war with that bar.
You got to go to war on that weight, brother.
I also think one of the parts that ties that in is I think it was Ed Cohn that said it was like, as soon as you start treating the light weights like the heavy weights, is when it's kind of the key to getting things done. And that's what I found lately, kind of anytime, at least from when I'm doing a lift, it has to be taken seriously for that moment.
Yeah.
And I used to do that where I would like kind of be able to phone in a lot of stuff.
It's only 200 pounds.
and that's
Until it got heavy.
Yeah.
And I literally now, maybe not from a seriousness standpoint, but from a ritual standpoint,
And effort in the
everything
lift.
is the same. Yeah. Like if I pull today, so I was helping Megan with some deadlifts, and today, I had to do a handful of, just pulling 135 to shore. And I have really, really been working on that. And I'll get to where I'll get that fucker back, and it's the same thing every time. And I am pulling 135 off the floor like it's 500 pounds. It's just the same thing. But just like Tommy, I don't have to get serious until it's time to get serious.
Yeah, and then you can turn it off in a second, right?
Yeah, well, yeah. Then I dick around like immediately. And I don't know, like Tanner, what do you? I'd say the three of us are probably pretty similar from a whole gym session is probably fairly similar for the three of us, kind of.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah,
we'll dick around a lot.
Yeah, my timeline is while I'm warming up, like the first 10 minutes I'm there, very not serious. Like if I'm
like
just warming up.
almost intentionally not
Yeah,
serious.
right. Just kind of casually warming up. And then as I start warming up through my first big compound movement, putting plates on the bar, I start getting a little more serious. And then once I get to the working sets of my biggest movement of the day, which is usually the first lift, that's when I'm most serious throughout the day, is that big compound lift. Like if I'm squatting that day, doing 5 sets of squat, that's my most serious time of the day. And then once I maybe say I have 3 other lifts after that, the lifts themselves become lifts that are a little less serious in nature. And as they become less serious, I become less serious. And I start talking, and then I start chatting.
And turn to hours.
Well, yeah, right. And then I get to eventually my last, usually a kind of an isolation movement where it's not taking a lot from your CNS or body or anything like that. And, I'm not all that serious at that point again. And I'm just kind of joking around. But the most serious is during that first, the most important compound movement of the day. It's like a climax of seriousness.
The seriousness has reached a peak.
Yeah. But then the seriousness doesn't plummet off. It's like a gradual come back down decline. On seriousness.
I've had sessions too, though, where I know that I'm going to hate everything that I have to do. So this week I had that fucking just stupid shit where it was 3 sets of 12 and they were kind of heavy for me. And then there was a bunch of other shit that was still high reps and kind of heavy. And I got I dreaded it for a whole day. And then, so I was supposed to do it Friday. I did not because I was too busy working on the new gym and ended up basically just putting it off until Saturday morning. And I'm not a morning lifter. So 7:30 in the morning is not a good time to be doing squats at sets of 12. No. And, I went in and did it, but there was a deal where even my warm-up sets, so I was still trying to do warm-up sets in 8, 10, 12 reps just to do it, that I was just fucking afraid of having to do that many reps the whole time. So that's when seriousness came into play. A little bit of death metal, loud as shit, fucking had to dial it in and just bite down and do it. And I got it done, but I did almost throw up from squats. I think we've talked about it. It's come up a few times, I think, in our conversations the last month, but you don't almost throw up from squats because you're squatting so hard and you get up and it just makes you, it's just generally, it's just kind of a lot of volume.
Yeah.
And I got done and was sitting in the truck going, and I actually grabbed the door handle and cracked it open just in case I think I need to do this.
Do you get that hot cold feeling or cold hot feeling or
you
a
start
weird
getting goosebumps and
it's I'm hot but I feel cold.
You start to salivate a little bit. It's not an awesome feeling, but it was seriousness that brought me to that point. I don't think you could get to that point
without being
with a lack of seriousness.
No.
But generally, I think we're probably about on the same boat. But there are people that go to the gym and you see memes on the internet all the time where it's come in, I put my headphones on, don't fucking talk to me, and I'm going to fucking do this shit, Yeah. And that works, I suppose, if you're maybe a guy training on an island, too, though. If you're at a gym that's not your vibe, and there's people doing...
But that, and then, the people that are like that, I want to know, what's your longevity? How... Do people that are that hardcore, fuck the world, I hate it, I do this because I'll die if... Do people that with that mentality stay in the lifting game for 10 plus years? Do they even stay in for 5 years? I don't know. Just seems like a lot of mental weight to carry with you multiple times a day or multiple times a week for weeks on end, months on end, years on end. It's just that's a lot.
But I do think and it does work for people, but I would say it probably is also holding you back a little bit. I see it with people in CrossFit all the time where they'll come in and part of what people enjoy is this the opposite of what a lot of us do, which is the intense cardio, the really high intensity, the breathing hard, the feeling like you're gonna fucking die.
But how do you talk to people when you're doing that?
Well, yeah, you don't. You don't during that. You don't during that point. But the Metcon portion of the workout. But I've talked to a lot of CrossFit coaches who have a hard time trying to program simply a strength day. Because people want to go and they want to do that when that shit's really that hard, you're doing a workout that's just your lungs are on fire, your legs are burning, everything fucking blows and it's really intense. You do something like that and you have to forget about your day and all your shit. That is a thing that you can't even be involved in. So people get to that point and they do that as a form of escapism. The problem is when coach programs a day that's, maybe some heavy deadlifts and some heavy accessory work and you need to give 100% to that. People get done. They're like, yeah, but I didn't almost feel like I was going to pass out from breathing so hard.
Right.
And so I'm going to just do burpees for a while until then. You know what I mean? Because for real, there will be people that you'll do a strength day and it's like, well, you should have just done more of that then.
Yeah.
And they'll get done and they'll be like, half their members don't feel like they got anything out of it. It's like, that's not the fucking point of the day.
Right.
Yeah. And do the thing that you're told to do.
To build strength, you're usually not
Your
going
lungs
to
don't
be,
need to be set on fire.
You're not going to be like that.
That's the deal. So they've envisioned, a lot of general CrossFit members will just, it's what they think they have to do. And I understand that a lot of people will train that to you can kind of go there and shut the switch off on all your baggage and do your thing and feel good and get better and move on. But that's not the whole picture. So there's going to be days when you can't do that. But I think it's the same thing when people come in and they want, I'm going to put some fucking death metal in my earphones and I'm going to not talk to anybody and I'm just going to do my thing because I'm fucking mad. What's the, was it the 8-man? Some of the commercials that they have out there is you gotta fight your fucking inner
Escape
demons
from this hell, this tormented hell you call life.
And it's like, whoa. So you're only appealing to people who fucking hate their lives. Yeah. And you're putting that out on your thing, if your life totally fucking sucks, buy some of our shirts.
Right.
I think that's a weird way to nothing bad about the brand or anything, but it's a weird way to package your.
I think a lot of people that have been doing it for a long period of time kind of goes to what you said. They don't think like that.
No,
people that have done it for a long, because you can't do that for
where do you have that
years.
for? I'm going to be just a fucking angry.
Right. So then you're
bitter.
Probably like that. In order to be like that all the time in the gym, you got to be like that all the time. And I do think some people will have days or weeks like that where, whatever else is going on and you're just, so you're just going to be like that.
Yeah.
You're like, this is what I need to do in the gym. But people don't do that forever. You can't, I don't know. I don't think you can sustain that, or it'd take a very, very particular type of person to be able to do that for a long time and be successful.
Yeah. And even I'm trying to think of guys that seem to be really on that psychological edge.
Yeah.
And George Lehman comes to mind.
Yeah.
He's the one he's the guy, and he's dropped off the face of the earth now, but when he was really on his hot streak chasing that world deadlift record 2 years ago, he's the one that any heavy set or whatever, he'd basically go into it almost crying, and he'd walk away almost crying too.
Right.
And he would talk about his mental thought process was losing his brother and a loved one dying, and some really, really heavy stuff. And that I guess that got him to a world record. But after that, he really has kind of he disappeared to Thailand for a while, and
he's a guy that prior to even his lifting, he's
had a lot of
issues.
demons and issues like that. And I mean, that's getting into a whole other realm of mental health.
But so the point is, we don't really want to be like that, because is that
how do we package our Massenomics message when we're putting that out there for advertising and stuff?
Yeah, so that's another area of seriousness.
It's 80%.
Yeah.
I would say we're about 60% partying and 40% dick jokes and 10% not knowing math.
Yeah. So did you have an official segue or part to this? Because what was the first part of
So the
seriousness?
first part was, how serious we all approach the gym personally or generally within our gyms, or what our take is on that. And then, so this part would be, you segued with 8-man. They're the easiest comparison to make, but how Massenomics seriousness level, as how we position ourselves and how, we might advertise versus how a company like 8-man Strong is very 100% seriousness.
100%.
They've never put out. I've never seen a comment from them that's wieners, or
By the way, are our wieners shirts going to be out yet?
I think they're just getting printed.
Haha, the Massenomics,
and
the Massenomics haha wieners shirt.
Gay jokes and
yeah, it's just more fun that way, isn't it?
that. Granted, there's going to be companies that are more serious than us, but I don't know. I agree. I think it's more fun, and it's. I mean,
I don't want to have the most it's okay. Here's what I view with seriousness when it comes to your brand. I do not want to have any company that I have be. I don't want to own a heating and air conditioning company that is the most serious heating and air conditioning company. I kind of want to just be the best that people enjoy being around. For the same reasons that I don't want to have the cheapest heating and air conditioning company, or the most expensive. Maybe the most expensive, but definitely you don't want to be the cheapest.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to be the most serious. The most unpleasant,
Right.
Because in I think like life, seriousness outside of the gym is unpleasant to be around. Right?
Typically, yeah.
Right.
Listen, actually, even in the gym, seriousness is unpleasant to be around. I mean, Tommy, you're getting ready to go for like a big, heavy fucking deadlift, and we're not standing there like 2 feet away from Tommy, chalking up, tightening his belt, going. It's great being around Tommy.
right.
I mean, you're not an asshole, but you're definitely not like, in tune with my fucking feelings at that moment. Nor are you expected to be. But like, there's some seriousness in general is probably not great to be around.
Yeah, and like when you look at like quotes from successful people and stuff, not that those mean anything, but like how often do you see the thing pop up of don't take yourself too seriously? Like that's in life, like that is such a huge part of things. And
So do you think that maybe the Massenomics level of seriousness is not prohibitively high, but are we prohibitively non-serious?
no, there's some serious. I mean, we take lifting seriously.
involved. Like, we're serious.
We
I would
all
think
take our
enough-
lifting pretty
I
seriously.
would think enough to bring value and things to, I mean,
Right.
to the point you could be so non-serious that you just don't.
We don't wanna be a
you don't
complete
serve
joke,
any purpose to
you know?
anything.
What are things that are out there that are not serious? Like so non-serious that they don't have any credibility? Okay, shots fired here. I like the guy, but like the Tom Finns of the world. Mm-hmm. Tom Finn, I've been reading more and more and more from like people who are, I would say, have an overabundance of seriousness, hating on Tom Finn for his lack of seriousness.
But are they just framing it the wrong way? He's serious about wanting to go viral. And you typically make more of a living producing viral videos than you do hitting
Lifting
500-pound
in a
bench
dungeon,
presses.
fucking hating yourself.
So his serious scope, everyone
just
is
on a
looking this
different
way,
page. Yeah,
and his one is pointed this way. And I think a lot of people
pointed at the right direction.
yeah, a
for
lot of
making
people
his
are
own ends
so
meet.
stuck looking in their direction that they don't even realize there are other directions, which is what he's doing.
Right,
I mean,
right,
if you can't see that, you're just not smart enough to get it. But it's the same thing. Juji Mufu. I mean, he's flipping around, going. I mean, the guy's pretty ripped, but he's flipping around doing all these crazy stuff because that's like where he can make a living is producing videos and getting picked up for Taco Bell commercials.
Yep.
Is
Not
he doing
entering
Taco
up.
Bell commercials now?
Well, he was
was.
about a year ago,
Yeah,
and I'm sure
really?
he made way more in that Taco Bell commercial than
But
probably
it
almost any
wasn't-
power lifter.
It wasn't a shoot for a Taco Bell
No,
commercial.
they
took
just
one
licensed
of his videos.
Yeah,
really?
they licensed the video
So he
from
just
him.
sold it to him.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. So he didn't even have to do anything.
No, he was already doing it.
Yeah,
and
which-
they're like, we want this.
Yeah, no, Tom Finn, I think realistic, or doesn't he have, or didn't he have like the bench press world record, like 198?
He might
Yeah,
have,
he's
Like 500 and
one
some
of the things
pounds.
with Tom is that they said like he could be overall like actually one of the best at his weight
Yeah.
class, hands down,
Yeah.
which is super commendable. He's hella strong, even coming back from a torn pec, which basically almost didn't skip a beat. To me personally, it like I get kind of I'm like geez, well, like can you just do a thing?
Yeah. Right.
You know, like so what? And it's not that he's doing anything wrong. I'm just kind of pointing at the seriousness.
Yeah, it's that is what a lot of people would consider like zero level serious, like nothing
Yeah.
to it.
But like, so that's the deal. Is like, so his lifting is. I think he still takes it very seriously. You wouldn't be that good at it if you're not. But maybe if there was more seriousness in his lifting and less seriousness on his viralness, you know, that maybe he would actually get the deal done. But
And I
not
think
my place to say.
I think
if I had the amount of Instagram followers that Tom Finn had, I would probably just be like taking pictures of myself in my
just keep
underwear,
fueling that fire. Yeah.
answering DMs left and right. So I'd be probably way worse than he. You know, like in his situation, I'd be so bad. You know,
well, he's done something right to get there.
Absolutely.
If that's his goal. You know,
Absolutely.
that's obviously his
Yeah,
goal.
he has more followers than I would guess
A lot.
99% of the
Very
powerlifting
serious
population.
lifters,
which
yeah.
is actually where I think the serious lifters that have a problem with it that's where they're bent about it. They're,
Right. Like,
he's
why aren't
getting
you
all
follow
these,
me? Like, I'm actually training hard.
yeah. And the issue with it is that like they take issue with it. Well, he should just be focusing on lifting. It's like, well, yeah, but you focus on lifting in your fucking poorly lit basement. You post videos of lifting once every 8 weeks, and your shit you can hardly see, and then like it's not interesting to watch.
Yeah.
Right.
So like the point of fucking social media is that it be entertaining.
People don't do it.
So do you know why he has 300,000 followers? Because he's
entertaining.
and you know, other people just aren't.
Yeah, it'd be like Brad Pitt getting pissed off at like a comedian because
Yeah.
he's not.
What, he's just telling jokes to be funny? You know? Why isn't he spending 14 months pretending to be a boxer like Daniel Day-Lewis? Well, like there's kind of different ways to be entertaining, and that's.
Right.
I don't think Dave Chappelle needs to go the Daniel Day-Lewis route. You know? Fuck.
Yeah.
But what other brands? Is there any other like? Okay, that's
Let's
just
try to compare-
Instagram. I was just saying,
compare
are there
other,
any
like-
brands
but
that are
that is-
like super not serious to the point where that's
in the world of
detrimental?
I don't know,
Like,
in the world of lifting,
I don't know of any.
like because that is the one
I
thing.
assume
out
though,
of,
if you're a brand, you have to retain some sort of seriousness
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
y'all trying to get
But
paid.
we're like comparing us to others. We're probably less serious than most.
Yeah,
But
I would put maybe our level of seriousness. If you had to go on some sort of a, I'm gonna treat seriousness here like Tanner's sexuality.
very ambiguously,
There's a spectrum here. There's a spectrum of seriousness.
it's not yes or
And
no.
There's no seriousness here where it's all dick and fart jokes.
Yep.
And then there's too much seriousness
seriousness.
here. I would put our seriousness on that spectrum, maybe like right around the range of like the Mark Bells of the world.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the super training, the powercast.
maybe not our success on the like if you look at.
I mean,
us.
yeah,
Well,
like
it
they're
depends on who you
here.
ask,
They're
probably.
from a success standpoint, they're here and we're here.
Again, we're in the other direction.
Yeah.
or whatever. But like, you know, he doesn't take himself too seriously.
Right.
And I'd say that's about where
I think we're comparable to that.
probably would fall into
as far
that.
as seriousness. But if we tried to be,
We're heavier than he is now. That's for
he's
sure.
light, ketogenic, ketosis, etc. If we did our posts and advertising like 8 Man Strong or companies like that do, it would be very phony and not true
Oh, yeah,
to what
it
we're
would-
actually like
yeah,
because
it
of
wouldn't
what we've
be-
already said here. You know, we don't take ourselves and our own things that serious. If we are like that, that's not true.
Yeah,
like, that's
yeah.
not a good representation.
Because that's another thing
of-
is like how do brands like that? Like if we were to have any interview footage or just any behind the scenes footage or even these podcasts and we're like laughing and giggling, but then we market ourselves as the most hardcore, like borderline depressed and killing yourselves like it's just it doesn't make any sense.
That's actually where like I think we kind of we were unprepared at the Arnold this year for like the amount or like the amount of people we were going to get to interview. So part of it was like I didn't get on the plane on the way to Columbus going, what am I going to ask Half Thor when I'm talking to him?
right.
So like when I got to interview Half Thor, I'm like, so like how you feeling?
Yeah.
He's like, I'm fucking beat up. I just, that's cool. Like, remember when you were in game? Like, it was that thing, you know?
Yeah.
And now going back into it, I was like, well, fuck. Like, we should definitely just do, like, our thing when
Yeah.
we do that next
Yeah.
time.
Be goofy.
So next year, it'll be a little more, like, you know, we have some things that we kind of plan on. But
Right.
it'll definitely be more Massenomics-y and less like, I'm a guy with a microphone. I should ask questions like a guy with a microphone would ask. But like the Mike O'Hearn interview was a great example.
Right.
Of that, where it's
Of
just like, did you paint those fucking pants on? Like,
And
he
he's
got
an
it.
easy,
And
yeah.
he
Like
gets
it's
it.
very easy to do with him because he immediately was like, within the first question, he knew what was going on. You
well,
know?
because he also was like, please don't ask me the natty question right now.
yeah.
Because he either gets people that avoid that question or only ask that question. But that's the Massenomics as a brand.
Yeah.
Our seriousness is, I would say, where are we at on if the spectrum is from 0 to 100? Are we in the? I'm gonna go with
50?
15.
Oh,
and this is
40.
this is the seriousness level of how we position ourselves as
Yeah.
being like
Yeah.
hardcore destroyers of iron.
Yeah, we're pretty far away from that.
I'm gonna say,
Yeah.
well, here's where we're at. 100 is the, say, like JP Carroll's of the world.
Right. We're a long ways from
And
that.
and then the like one would be, I don't even know what I would
Like
put as
Tom
a
Finn
one.
shooting bottle rockets out of his
Of his
butt.
butt.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
that video, not like some
Not
of his
like
other
him
videos.
lifting pretty
No, no,
heavy
yeah,
and,
no, no.
and doing
taking
something,
a shot.
but for real, bottle rockets out of the butthole
Yeah.
is 0. You're right. My 15 was not that close.
yeah.
A little on the low end.
I didn't quite analyze the spectrum.
Less than 50 probably.
but for
though.
sure,
Yeah,
less than
yeah.
50.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. I think so.
On seriousness in the gym, we've covered seriousness as Massenomics as a brand.
Another seriousness arena that we maybe have talked about this a little bit on the podcast is kind of the old guard of powerlifting versus the new guard of powerlifting. It doesn't have to, assuming we're basically in the new age of powerlifting versus the old, it doesn't have to be specifically about us, but just the difference in the two. There's definitely a difference.
There is.
What a powerlifting meet looked like and felt like 15 years ago
Yeah.
versus what a lot of them are like now. And they're not bad now.
No,
But there's
and-
less and it's still very serious at a meet, but it's different. I think people are more interested in chatting and being friendly and maybe joking around when it's appropriate, and not approaching it like
do or die, life or death.
right. Because at the end of the day, it's still a powerlifting meet,
And it's still a completely individual sport.
Right.
It doesn't.
and it doesn't
And because
actually matter for almost anything.
like for the most part, do any of your significant others really actually give a shit how you did?
No.
So do you think
don't even know what it
anyone
means.
else in that room cares how you did? You know, like that's the truth.
Well, there's other
is
people
it's
that are
like-
interested, but it's
But in only how you did in relation to them.
yeah,
You know
basically,
what I mean?
basically, yeah.
Like so the whole thing is like in the grand scheme of things, still nobody gives a fuck.
Yeah.
Like
And the grandest scheme of things, a powerlifting meet doesn't matter about anything. There's
all.
like real things going on.
Yeah.
So like it's this very isolated.
there's real things going on in the world that we avoid like fucking crazy.
Yeah.
like all this really
shit.
serious stuff, like things that are really serious, and we're like, no,
There's
no,
no. I gotta really focus before I deadlift right now.
Yeah.
like don't care about war. Don't care about
Are there people in the world that get up? Like, is there a guy who gets up and gets on the platform, closes his eyes, dials in all of his seriousness, and goes, "Fucking Republicans," and grabs the bar? You know,
Right.
like there's got to be people.
Yeah.
Are there people
Yeah.
that like channel that into their seriousness?
I would guess by the
When they lift?
things you see on Facebook and stuff of people commenting, they're like, oh, remember that guy that really ragged on me on that Facebook political comment? He's like, he's at the bar today. But don't you think that you'll see older guys around that have been around it longer?
Yeah, and there's even, and this, I do not mean anything to like piss people off when I say this or anything, but like you can even go on YouTube, and this is like one thing I've noticed talking about the new guard versus old guard and old school, new school. And like you can watch videos of guys that were like associated with West Side and like heavy equipped lifting, and they talk about like
It sucked.
almost like how lifting wasn't fun.
Right.
It was like a job, and everyone was gunning for everyone, and
Nobody was rooting for
no
you.
one was. People were
that's what I
almost
don't get,
people
like-
were almost like rooting against you because everyone wanted to
Yeah.
be the strongest one. It was so cutthroat, and at the end of the day, it was for chasing like multiply world records that only exist that in meets that your friends hosted, and most people don't even know what that is. And then when it's all said and done, you're done with it and you have all this damage to your body, and it's like that's a level of seriousness that I'll never understand, and I don't think most people do understand that anymore. Like that doesn't really exist much in the world of powerlifting, does it?
I don't think so. Like at least not what. Well, my experience. So
It
limited,
definitely
what I've
did, but I
seen.
think that's kind of falling out.
I don't, I think now even people that are into that like multiply stuff now, like there's people that are doing that are having more fun. It's not just
Yeah.
like the multiply versus raw. Like there's
If they're
you
doing
can
it,
do
it's 'cause
that
it's more
and
fun.
have it and also have it. It also doesn't have to suck. Like it can be fun.
Yeah, it
And-
doesn't have to
right.
at all. Like,
Yeah, and I do think as you go up the chain of competitive levels,
yeah,
it's going to be
yes.
like Ray Williams at IPF Worlds or any of those guys
is going through like mental and physical stressors that
Right. We don't.
no one else on earth will ever know. Like that.
We're more talking about the 95% of us that do local meets.
Yeah.
That there again, like it matters even less. Like
Yeah.
it matters so little of what we're actually doing.
And I actually think that like if I did a powerlifting meet, which I might maybe do one, next year, like I still would only approach it like the seriousness would only be around the attempts, and I wouldn't even be that serious about how things went.
Everyone wants to do well.
Yeah, like
that's not
nobody
saying
wants
not-
nobody wants to go in and shit the bed. Yeah, but like, I mean,
It's fun to have
how
fun
much are
at
you
a
gonna
meet,
how much
yeah.
are you gonna put on it? You know what I mean? Like, you're gonna walk away like, fuck, that fucking sucked.
I enjoy being
like-
in the warm up room and like talking to the guys and being somewhat serious, but also joking around about things like as we're warming up. Like
Yeah.
that's fun. Like that makes me feel better about when I'm getting up there.
I don't know if I would actually have fun at a meet if I went by myself and like you guys or like Ryan and Larry. Like if
Weren't
Ryan
there.
wasn't there to like rag on Larry the whole time, I don't know if I could even have fun at a meet.
Right,
like
right.
What's when Larry retires? Is he still gonna have to? We're gonna have to get him a coach shirt.
Yeah, he's gonna have to
He's-
just go
he's gonna
and
have
be
to
there.
come and
like-
be in the back forever.
yeah.
I would say talking about back to what we're like in the gym and stuff, the moment that you're on a platform or actually competing is the most serious.
For sure.
Like I'm not saying thinking about like stabbing babies in the face, but like you might think
Like,
about
a lot of the time. That's what he's thinking.
But yeah,
about.
I'm not
That's
saying
just
it,
what
but yeah,
gets
that's
him.
what I'm thinking
That gets
about.
him through the workday.
But you will think about things at that moment in time that are more serious than in the gym. Like, and I think that's important to be able to take it, like have one more gear to go to. So if you're like that in the gym all the time,
Yeah.
what do you do at the meet? How do you take it to the next level? Like, does someone literally have to like punch you in the mouth as hard as they can to wake you up to a next step?
It's and that's actually something I did a little bit of reading about is some people just train under too much
Stimulation almost,
external arousal.
Yeah.
I like the word arousal.
Yeah, arousal's key here.
but-
External arousal.
So
Tyler, what about internal arousal?
internal arousal, it's all
Depends on what you're
if you can get as aroused as possible internally, that's a win for you. But no, that actually is the concept I'm getting at here is that external arousal, like i.e. you've got fucking Pantera cranked up loud as shit.
Nose torque.
You got your nose torque. Tanner slaps
Slapping
me in
you
the
on the back.
face.
Yeah.
Tommy slaps me in the back. I have 25 people screaming at me. I grab the bar and I do my second set of 5 reps.
Yeah,
Like,
right.
That's kind of not how you do. That's not what you should be doing.
Right.
And now let's be honest, that would be a fucking pretty awesome way to train though. Like if you did do that all the time.
But you
like,
just can't
if
sustain
all,
that all
If
the
all
time.
5 of your sets were like that, fucking let's fucking do this.
But
Fucking-
if all 5 of your sets are like that every day,
That's what I'm saying,
eventually
like the
it's gonna
longevity
be
thing.
like
well,
Like,
you
it
just
catches
you
up to
never,
you.
Yeah.
and I don't know that on its own would be detrimental, but you never have anything else in the tank,
right.
and that's kind of a problem. So you get to a meet, and what are you going to do? Are you going to pick the song? Are you going to have 2 people? You're going to have a face slap and a back slap guy.
Have twice as much caffeine as you
What
normally
if
consume.
what if your 15 gym friends don't show up, and it's like most powerlifting meets where, let's be honest, if it's early in the day, nobody even claps, and like, there you go, and that's after your first attempt. Depending on how that goes, your second attempt might be heavier or the same or disappointing or whatever. But I just don't think that you can do that all the time.
Right.
So you kind of got to train. It's got to just be your thing. You dial yourself in, but it's good to have an extra gear. You don't want to blow your wad in training all the time.
It's fun to have that gear in a competition too, to be able to go to that and
Yeah.
And
it's fun.
just in a lot of sports, it's like that where all of a sudden, when you find that extra, you're like, oh shit, man, this is really fucking intense. You're like, hey, all right. Like, that's a good feeling.
Yeah.
But to get there and actually, when you're under that, kind of quote, under the lights, and you're like, all right, it's time. And you're actually underwhelmed. You're kind of understimulated. You're like, well, fuck, I didn't have my my third Monster Energy drink today, and Tanner stayed home because he had to deal with his kids. No one slapped my back, and fucking Larry wasn't getting ripped on by Ryan. You know, like that's a whole bunch of stuff that like now it didn't fall your way, and can you still lift under those circumstances?
Right.
So maybe I think it like in that case, would that person have been better off like, you know, dealing with a quick dick and fart joke before he went up on the platform in training from time to time? Probably.
Yeah, right. I think so.
Or listening to somebody complain about their job and be like, yeah, all right, I'm gonna. And then they do their, you know, like
That's
like
really
that,
what it's like. Yeah,
that's most of what it is. You know, it's
real
like
life
it's like, oh yeah, fuck all that. You know, and then you do your lift and it is whatever.
Yeah.
And but I think that's, you know, when you have then that external arousal that then all of a sudden like it has value to you then. You know. But it's just me.
So how about seriousness with the podcast specifically?
I would say we take this quite serious.
It's right up there with the
These first 40
greats,
minutes, I think.
you know, anything produced by NPR. It's among those
Serial.
All right, so let's talk about the Tanner sexuality spectrum of seriousness in podcasts now. What is the least serious podcast that you guys are aware of? Do you know of anything that's just wacky?
I don't know.
I don't know of any.
I listen to pretty serious.
One of
podcasts.
my favorite ones is the How Did This Get Made, which is it's a movie podcast review where they basically just bring on the shittiest movies ever. Like they did. They've just done a ton.
They
of them.
did Junior.
They did Junior. Yeah,
Yeah,
we talked about that. Didn't we? That's right.
yeah.
Anyway, but it's the guy who played Andre from The League. I don't even remember his name.
Oh, yeah.
And then the guy who played Raffi from The League.
Okay, yeah.
Jason Mantzoukas and Paul Scheer, I think, is the other guy's name, and a couple other people on there. But they just talk about these stupid shit movies. They do like Sharknado, but they kind of go through them in detail. It's really funny. It's all fucking around though. I'd say that's a 0 or a 1 on the serious. They're never like, well, I want to take a moment here.
Yeah.
You know, they're at a 0. What's 100?
Most of it.
I would
like Serial, if anyone's listened to Serial.
Serial, I would
probably.
say anything that's like more like scientific based because that can get really dry.
The one I listen to that's definitely a 100 would be. Let's see what I got in my thing. I do have where are we at? The Waking Up with Sam Harris, who's like a super aggressive atheist, like just and believes that like free will is not a concept that is actually a thing, that all your decisions are a product of your environment and your upbringing and all the circumstances that have happened up to that point. I would say that is a 100 on the seriousness thing, right?
Yeah.
Like his last podcast is The End of the World According to ISIS. The next one is Leaving Islam. The one before that is The Unraveling.
Okay, Charlie, you're
Then
bumming me out,
Road
dude.
to Tyranny, Persuasion and Control, the moral complexity of genetics. That's a 100, right?
Yeah.
On seriousness.
Yeah.
And
that's
we
close to
fall,
us,
I would
so.
say, like a sweet 97, you think?
Yeah, somewhere in there.
Again, we're definitely below 50.
Definitely below 50 on the seriousness spectrum. I don't even know what I would put halfway between. That's like, there is miles between those two.
Right, yeah.
things.
Yeah, it's such a gap.
Yeah. So we're just like in that. We're not all movie reviews, and we're not all about the end of the world according to ISIS.
Right. And because of our overlying topic of just lifting in general, there again, it's not that. It's not
Can't
ISIS.
be that
It's
serious.
not.
If we took this podcast as seriously as the moral complexity of genetics,
Yeah.
like that's a fucking swing and a miss
Well,
here.
and we also wouldn't be producing shirts and hats that were inspired by adult beverage
Right.
if we were hardcore serious about this and like had our diet dialed
in.
into 100.
Right.
That's actually another topic we could talk about. What is your level of seriousness when it comes to food, either quality or quantity? Like, how serious do you take it on a daily basis, Tanner?
It really depends on the time, where I'm at from like a goal.
Yeah.
Like if a competing goal, the closer I get to a competition in general, it's going to get more serious because I'm either going to be trying to, most of the time, probably gain weight or lose weight. So that's when it's the closer to a competition, the more serious it's going to be. The farther away from a competition, the less serious, but only to a point. Like, it's not like I get to the point where I'm like, oh, don't care, not going to eat anymore. Like, like it just dialed back to a certain extent.
Yeah.
But still fairly serious, but not relative to someone that's like weighing their food. I'm very far from serious of that because I never do that, you know? So that's...
I would say I still, on the weighing the food, I still do that like every couple of weeks as like a calibration tool.
Yeah, so that's more serious.
So
though,
like,
if you're
yeah,
doing
oh,
that,
for
that's,
certain.
you know.
But what that is I kind of view that as like, if I have like some nutrition points that I'm trying to hit, even if it's simply quantity, like I got to hit above this mark, I got to know about actually how much, like I eat the same thing all the time. You know, I'll cook the same thing. I'll eat the same thing all week mostly. And like, so like this week it's fucking chicken. You saw 25 pounds of chicken we just pulled off the grill.
Yeah.
And like, so that's just what I'm going to eat this week. And, you know, I'll know basically I need to have like between 10 and 12 ounces of chicken, you know, 3 to 4 times, well, 4 times a day, basically. But I got to know what 10 to 12 ounces looks like,
Right.
what that is.
Right.
Yeah.
And I'm not that fucking dialed in at this point, so I don't really worry about it. But I do got to recalibrate every couple weeks to know. So what I'll usually do is like Monday mornings, I'll throw some chicken on a scale. All right, it's about where we're at. And then that's just kind of about the amount that I'll put in my shit every day when I leave the house then. I won't weigh it every time, but I do it. But also, it has been weird, like the last few weeks, trying to get the stuff with the new gym going, where I'm like, oh, Jesus, I haven't eaten since noon.
Yeah.
It's 7:30 p.m. And I'm like, fuck it. Like, I need to go. Like, the other day we went and I got 3 large pizzas from Little Caesars. And
What did you do with them?
I ate 3/4 of one pizza on the drive from Little Caesars to the gym, and then brought the rest in so my mom and sister and wife and whoever else was there could eat.
And you're like, oh, I got 2 pizzas. And then
Well, I was like,
let's all dig in.
there was 3 boxes.
Yeah.
I put the mostly eaten one on the bottom, and then
you opened up like, what the hell? They only gave us like a fourth of a pizza in this one.
and then I brought him all home, so that the kid Lincoln was like, I was like, hey, we got some pizza if you want some. Oh, cool, it was great. So he had a couple pieces. He's a kid, and then like so before bed, I was like, well, there is, you know, I was like calorically, I'm probably definitely under, and I was like, there is, you know, 6 slices of cheese pizza left. So I just ate 6 slices of cheese pizza and then went to bed almost immediately after. Like,
Well, there is no better way to fall asleep than to eat like an entire pizza and then
go to sleep.
oh, that is like,
I mean, there's maybe some like
it's a very unhealthy way.
chemical ways to go to sleep better,
yeah.
but like definitely just eat a gross amount. The problem I have is it's a heartburn thing with if I eat pizza, especially that like you know, the chain pizza, your Pizza Huts, your Domino's, your Little Caesars, I'll get just nasty heartburn from it. So that was actually like one of the worst things in the world for me to do, which is already be full on pizza, eat a shit ton of pizza again, and then lay on my fat fucking back and snore for 10 hours. but it was still pretty awesome. None of it was like enjoyable, the taste or the feeling, or none of it was good, but by God, I had to get it in. But that's kind of where my food seriousness has been lately. What about you, Tommy? You've never been much of
I'm
like
probably
a
the least-
meal prepper guy or anything.
Just to the point of like just making food to save myself time for the week. And
Yeah.
I'm probably the least serious out of everyone when it comes to food here. Not that I'm like eating garbage. You know,
Right.
I cook, with the exception of like eating out, I cook every meal I eat, you know, and I wake up every day to make sure I get a solid breakfast in and everything. But yeah, it just depends. You know, I was going for a while here. I was like not taking it as seriously, so I was definitely losing weight. I mean, the last one was 10 pounds from the competition, and then I was like, well, it makes the gym stuff a little tougher, and so that just mentally doesn't feel good to have that not go as good. So then it's like, well, we'll just increase the calories a little bit. But
Yeah.
that's one thing I could probably dial in way harder because I'm not like counting macros. I have no idea how many ounces of food I get. I know what I need to eat to weigh like a certain amount, and so I just can kind of stick to that. But
And you know how to use the gym as a gauge. Like,
yeah,
you're like,
yeah,
I'm getting
and
weaker.
Yeah, I know
That's,
how things
you know,
feel.
yeah.
And, yeah.
The other thing though is like, so you pay like not a whole lot of attention detail wise to to like what you eat, really. Like in general.
Yeah, not detail
like,
wise, other than like I know because my breakfast is always the same. I essentially know I'm getting like 80 grams of protein at breakfast. Like that's just happens, and then there's other stuff there too. But after that, it's just like I'm eating at lunch and I'm eating at dinner, and it's like if I'm more serious about getting bigger and more calories,
It's just gotta be
I'll,
more.
I'll go towards the more that 8 ounces of meat if possible. If I'm not as serious, then that's not a priority. Then that's basically my gauge. Is
Yeah. I don't know. I kind of the same way as a gauge though, where like, I ate an obscene amount of food for a couple of months there, the last couple of months, and felt super strong, and it's been tremendous. And then as I've been gradually kind of dialing it back, I've kind of been like around maintenance. I still feel that where like I'll go into the gym and just be like, well, like anything, it's kind of the perfect storm of things where like I go into the gym now, I'm eating a little bit less food. I also am
A little bit more
generally
stressed with
more active and a little more stressed,
Yeah.
like some, with the new gym stuff. And then I also did the new program. So I did a new program for like 9 weeks, ate a fuck ton of food that whole time, like a really gross amount of food, and then PR'd all my lifts by a lot. I also hadn't tested in a long time. So the numbers that I was working off on all my old programs are probably pretty lower than they should have been. But my lifts went up by a lot when I tested, the last few weeks. So now I'm like done with the first 2 weeks of this new program with the new weights.
Oh, right.
And I'm eating a little bit less than I was before.
Yeah.
So I'm walking into the gym feeling a little bit different. And I just get fucking smashed now. Like, it fucking sucks. So, like, coming out of that squat workout yesterday, I was just like, Jesus Christ. Like, I have not eaten enough.
Yeah.
All this is, it's like you're asking, how much? Like, this is so fucking heavy, and it's all overwhelming. I'm just hoping I can, like, really ride it out, and that if at these weights I can like sustain it for another 9 weeks of this, and then kind of see where things are. Like that'd be sweet. But I have a feeling I'm gonna kind of level out a little bit. But that's always, if I could stomach eating the amount of food that I was eating before, I still think I would still just continue to get stronger. But I just can't fucking eat that. That was an unsustained. That took a level of seriousness
that no man knows.
There are some men that know, but like when you talk like, so Eddie Hall, he quit the retired from World's Strongest Man, and now you see pictures of him. He's dropping weight like crazy. Now he's probably down. What did he say last time? But I think he's down like almost 30 pounds now, 30 or 40 pounds already in just a few weeks. But people don't understand that for him to get as big as he was probably basically force-feeding himself all day, every day.
For 10 years.
For 10 years. And that's like, trying to lose a little weight does not require the amount of discipline that trying to do what I did for the last 3 months. Like, that fucking hurts you all day. You get up in the morning, you eat until you just feel gross about yourself. 2 hours later, you eat an amount of food that, if you were told that you had to eat that after you ate your first meal, you'd be like, not a fucking chance. And you get that, you just get it in you because it's just where you start. You don't have to like it. It just has to get inside you. And then 2 hours later, you do it again. And 2 hours later, you do it again. And it fucking sucks the whole time. And you feel like shit. You feel fat. You feel bloated. And then you lift and you feel strong. And that's a tough feeling to beat. But yeah, all that food. I mean, I couldn't imagine. I did it for 3 months, and I could not even imagine doing it for years. And the thing is that would have to gradually tick up.
Yeah, because
for it to work, like
at a certain point,
I would get to the point where I would plane out, and then you would have to dial it up, and no fucking way. At least not with the carbs. The amount of carbs that I was eating, like 700 grams of carbs a day, is not that cool to eat. And I'm sure that's what Eddie Hall was dealing with all the time, is just fucking eating.
Yeah, I've seen the Brian Shaw's Super Training followed him. Did a day in the life of his eating, and it's
intense.
Pretty crazy. I mean, it is crazy.
Yeah.
Like, it felt like he literally all day, like his waking hours, he was just eating.
Yeah.
And like
And
he was cooking for himself, so he was literally just like cooking and eating.
Is that what he does all the time though? I
don't
wonder.
know.
I can't imagine because he's sitting there. So,
But he knew, like, he certainly
know.
knew what he was doing, like, while he was doing
Yeah.
it, and he kind of knew, like, he had some pointers about what he does.
but if,
like,
if that's actually what he does, he has to do that. I mean, he for sure. I mean, he's not going being an accountant during the day. So I mean, he could do it.
yeah.
You know, because he's one of the rare few. But what about all the people that are like 15, 20% below Brian Shaw? There's a sea of people in the 50 to 80% of Brian Shaw in the strongman world. And those people are still trying to do that thing too. And those motherfuckers got to go work construction all day.
Yeah.
So like, but if that's what he does, he gets up in the morning then, and he's cooking
Cooking, eating.
and
cooking,
eating, and then cooking and eating. And that's why I think that video was a little bit of like a staged thing. Because there's no way that
he's
if I had
cooking, eating,
that much
cooking.
eating for a week, I would just cook the 60 pounds of beef that I have to eat in a week in one big old fucking vat.
Yeah.
And then like get on with my day. But it was still incredible. And he even said like, you know, you still feel hungry. So I'm still feeling hungry, so that's good. And I could always gauge that when I was eating that much food that like not that as much as he does, but as much as I was, that like it took a while, but then it did start to get to the point where every once in a while during the day, and only every once in a rare while, that I would feel like I needed to eat some food. But for the most part, that whole time, I never felt hungry. And it was mostly the opposite, you know. But so my level of nutritional seriousness was very high when I was trying to lose weight from being a big old fat guy.
Yep.
And then when I went to try this last little experiment, trying to gain a bunch of weight and get stronger, my level of seriousness was actually had to be way more intense, because that's a fucking all day commitment. And going to the gym and lifting is one thing, and you can like put in your work and you can do your thing, and that takes work, but only for an hour or two. But feeling like you're stuffed and still stuffing your face all day is way fucking harder than anything you're going to do in the gym.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And yeah, that sucked. That sucked a lot. Like that's how I know like I'm just not cut out for that. There's no way I could be cut out for being 400 pounds.
That's serious.
And I do think that yeah, there's no way I can be that serious. That is an unsustainable level of seriousness, for sure. Where are we at as far as
We got a few
any
comments,
any
etc.
comments or reviews?
We do have a review even.
While
too.
you're looking that up,
Yeah.
can I ask Tyler a question? And I haven't got
Only if it's about seriousness.
It is. This is a very serious question.
right.
I haven't got to ask him yet.
All right.
Tyler, are you the new winner of a Pioneer wallet?
Oh shit, yeah.
Oh yeah.
I don't even have the one with me, and I bet I can't pull it up here. When I did anything on my phone, did that work out on the
Oh
video?
yeah. Yeah, you can
Is
put
that,
it. Yeah,
is that
you
passable?
can see it. Yeah, you can
Okay.
see it.
So Matt from Pioneer did a little thing where they started making wallets, and I think that he was just kind of tinkering with the wallet idea. And then he had all those other exotics, and I assume if you're making belts out of snakeskin and alligator,
And rhino
that you
and-
have all these weird little pieces that you can't use.
Yeah.
So a wallet is a tremendous way to burn that stuff up, and you can still charge a premium for it. So Matt's not stupid. It's a good idea. And they can still do their laser shit and their embroidering and stuff. So Matt did a giveaway. He said, let's do a fun giveaway. Tag some friends, repost, tag us in a picture of your current wallet. And he said the shittiest wallet wins. And he had a new wallet with like the Punisher skull on it. And I've actually was showing...
Pretty serious wallet.
It's a pretty serious wallet. I was actually showing... or we was talking to Tanner and Ryan down at the gym the other day about it.
Yeah.
And I was like, God, I kind of would like to have one of those Pioneer wallets.
Yeah.
We couldn't figure out whether or not it would work for our amount of cards and stuff. But I'd be like, fuck, I'll just use less shit.
Yeah.
You know?
Right.
But my wallet is a Marvel comic book wallet that I got from GameStop.
I thought there was like a Superman in there. or
Yeah,
something.
I got it from GameStop.
This is your current wallet. We're
My
talking
current
about.
wallet. I got it from GameStop about 6 or 7 years ago, probably, with like your GameStop points when I was not so busy that I couldn't play video games. So I was like, I'll buy a video game. I'll play it for a bunch of time and I'll trade them in and get all these sweet points. And now video games now are only for Lincoln because I just don't have the time. But so anyway, so this wallet I definitely won the most busted ass wallet award, and I don't know, is that too close, Tanner? You're gonna
That
have to
might
tell
be
me
about
based the
right,
shot.
I
It's probably
think.
about right.
Yeah.
So on the one side is the wallet that Matt is giving away, and on the other side is
Which
my,
one's which?
my contest entry.
Yeah, why don't you describe that thing a little more, Tyler?
So my wallet has basically one entire side of the leather is torn off. 70% of the bottom of the leather is torn off. So I'm not really certain. Like I don't put money in it because if I put cash in it, there's like a pretty good chance that it's not going to stay in there because
Like,
you can see all the way through it.
It kind of looks like something like a homeless person might use for toilet paper.
Yeah, and and so the only thing that it can hold is cards because everything else will most likely fall out the bottom of it, which is okay because most of the time my wallet just stays in my pocket. But yeah, so I'm pretty stoked. And actually, they just sent. I ordered a belt, just a really basic belt from them, so it shipped pretty fast. So I don't know if this is gonna be like stuffed in the order of shit that I got or. If I'll get it, but I would expect to get these like within a week, I think, you know. So I'll probably bring them in, hopefully maybe next week or the week after. I'll have my Pioneer belt. I do have the axle straps too. I got the figure 8 straps. Had to get them in the axle size because my hands are weird big. And then the new wallet. So was that enough time stalling for you,
Yeah,
Tyler?
I'm gonna run down a few comments that we have on YouTube, podcast videos, etc., and then I'll get to I know we have one review, so
Okay.
we'll save that for last. And these comments probably don't warrant a whole lot of discussion, but I just want to read them to encourage people to continue to comment because we enjoy these.
So wait, so before you start, should we not shit all over these comments?
Yeah, right.
Are you briefing us? Is that the go ahead? Is like Tyler? Tyler,
get on the
don't fucking do it on this one, okay?
So the episode we were talking about how World's Strongest Man went, and we were talking about the squat in strongman, how it's difficult, and how I did one at a local competition where you had to squat against the pins, and the guy that runs that competition listened, and he said having the squat at the fair was hard to figure out with all the different heights of athletes, and if I was to adjust the bar for everybody, there might be controversy over that. Just like controversy over not adjusting the bar.
Yeah.
But the main thing for the fair, and this he's talking about the future, he's trying to get away from barbell movements and make it more barbarian strongman like, mostly rocks, barrels, sandbags, whatever weird thing I can think of. So that's about that on that one.
Which I like that still.
Yeah.
I think like conceptually that actually makes a
There's
lot of
just
sense.
different types of strongmans. But
Well, and there's different types of strength. So like
Yeah.
how many strongman competitions go without technically a barbell? Probably well, there's probably some though. I mean, most have
but there's
a
always
deadlift.
like a deadlift, you know.
Yep. Other than that though,
Yeah.
I mean, most of the events aren't a barbell, which is good. But you could get into a trap where you're like, it's all just a press and a deadlift,
Right, where it's just barbells. And it also depends on what you have access to and all that, you know, what kind of thing you can run. From Jeremy Nicholas, he had a suggestion for your catchphrase, Tyler. He said, Tyler's catchphrase could be, boom goes the dynamite.
Oh, that's
There you
pretty
go.
good. That is pretty good.
And then also on that video, another comment. This is from Logan Frank. He said, can the professor put his stamp on the next triangle scheme called plexus? And I do not know what that is.
I've never heard of this.
I have heard of it. I think it's a thing that blew in and blew out pretty fast. It was
Okay.
like like the Herbalife thing.
Sounds like my diet and bathroom activities.
There was like I think there was the plexus thing came in. I only know this based on I only know about any of it based on people on Facebook.
Yeah, I was gonna
And
say.
and there was like a few chicks on Facebook who I know don't work out at all, who just all of a sudden were
their own
reps.
boss.
Yeah, they were their own boss, and they were telling you how to be your own boss and make your own money and help people. And they were hustling plexus for, I would say, that had to be the shortest lived of anything that I saw. Like it came and went. I'm gonna guess there's about 3 of these nice ladies that did this, and I would say I heard a lot about it for about 5 weeks, and then it went away. Like they did one purchase as a distributor and then fucking quit.
Okay.
Is my guess.
So we can ask Sean's about that more.
Yeah,
right,
Sean's
another
got shit on
time.
that. I
Yeah.
think we do have a few. There's a few more there's a couple that I want him to do first. I think I still want him to smash some of the other ones. It's tough.
Put on his list.
Like we don't like pit Sean's against those things, but most of those things suck so hard.
It's
that,
easy
like,
to-
if we're just
yeah.
like, hey Sean's, would you like to cover this product line? And then it's like, we just know that it's horse shit, and he's gonna pick it apart.
Right. Another thing, do you say Kaler Woolham or Kyler Woolham, or do we know that?
The other things, you should ask. First off, you should ask him, because
Yeah.
we're gonna go with Kaler.
Okay, so with Kaler, if that's
Because that's
how
what
you say
I've heard
Okay.
it pronounced by other people.
Okay, if you don't know who that is, he's the guy out there that weighs about 200 pounds and deadlifting over 900 pounds, and he's hunting down. Ed Cohn's record was recently broken by Yuri Belkin, and Kaler would be in the running to be able to win that back. But look for him in possibly some Massenomics apparel in the future.
Yeah.
Actually, probably by the time you're listening to this, he may be out there wearing it. So that's
Do
kind
you
of cool.
suppose that he's gonna wear it when he breaks the record?
Well,
You would assume.
I
would
could
have-
only assume.
yeah, like that's in the contract.
And
so-
then I think that he would. I'm gonna guess that if he breaks what I would say the greatest powerlifting record of all time that then just got broke. Like what on the seriousness spectrum,
to tie it in.
to tie it in here, how serious do you suppose he would get, and how much of that seriousness is based upon the fact that he's probably wearing his Massenomics hat?
All of it.
Yeah.
All of it, right?
Yeah.
I mean, like, without the hat, you suppose he's like a 300-pound deadlifter?
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. And about the record, when we were talking with him, we let him know, bring that record back to the good old US of A. You know, we don't want the Russians hanging on to that. You know,
Yeah.
Ed had it forever, and we want it back. And he did tell us that you can count on him breaking it.
I like it.
So you heard it here first that he's not.
Have we got any... Do you know when he's competing?
I don't know for sure. We should find that out.
It's so
Yeah.
weird.
Yeah.
Frankly, like, not that it's but like if I was like, so like in training, I'm breaking this world record, like,
How long am I gonna wait until I go?
well, I would always, my concern would always be like, what if I fuck around and get hurt? Or what if I like,
Yeah.
let's just, I don't know, you sprain your ankle stepping off a curb, walking down the street, and that sets you
And
back.
it's just never, or it's never quite the same.
Yeah, or
Yeah.
that sets you back like 2 or 3 weeks of training where you're not really up to snuff. And next thing you know, by the time you dial things back up, you're fucking 3 months down the road before you're back to where you were. Like anything can happen. If I was able to set a world record in almost anything, I would do it like right now. Strike while the fucking iron's hot. But
Good point.
so I'm hoping he does it like at least by this fall, don't you think?
I
That
would
he
think
I
so.
would
I don't know
think,
what
yeah,
he.
you-
I would
mean,
assume that
he's-
whatever
he's
his
gonna be
next,
thinking the same thing.
yeah, like whatever
he's
his
got,
next,
he's got a plan, no doubt.
Yeah, I'm sure. Whatever his
Yeah.
next competition is,
Yeah.
I'm sure that's. Frankly, if it was me, I wouldn't even be concerned about winning the powerlifting meet.
Mm-hmm.
I'd come in and I'd get a squat on the board and
Yeah.
I'd half-ass my bench. But I think he's a pretty good squatter and a pretty good bencher.
He's a good bencher for sure.
For his
Yeah.
size of his long arms, he's a really good bencher. He's a 450 something.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, that's legit.
Yep.
That's
Yep.
really legit.
For sure. We want to read we do have one iTunes review or
Sweet.
Apple Podcast review, and I apologize about the name on this. If I say it wrong, I really apologize because I appreciate so much that you wrote a review. Like, I don't want to murder this, but I think it's Nikhil Nalamathu.
Can I see
Okay.
it?
Yeah.
What if it was like 3 words and you're just reading them all together?
Where is it at?
At
Was
the
it
very bottom
one?
Yeah.
Nikhil Nalamathu. Yeah, that's my guess.
Yeah.
That's my guess.
So this person gave us 5 out of 5 stars.
Dodged a bullet there.
And what they said is, you guys are funny as F. I'm interning in an office from 9 to 5 every day, so it's safe to say I scan 6 hours a day. Y'all get me through it with the fist emoji like this. Also, go check out my Instagram for a good weight loss transformation, 92 pounds, at NN Alamathu, ... or not. So they got a plug in there, but that's okay. You can plug your own stuff on our reviews. If you want.
Yeah, shit.
Plug away.
Plug your Plexus dealership too, for all I fucking care. Do I? And
So if you want to plug your own things in our comments, as long as you're giving us a 5 out of 5 stars, I'm cool with that.
It's the cool new way to market things.
Yeah.
yeah, fuck it, yeah. Definitely. So, thanks. We're gonna pronounce that Nikhil. So Big Nick. We're gonna go with Big
Yeah,
Nick.
Nick.
I like
Okay.
Big
Yeah.
Nick. Thick Nick.
we got one.
Well, it was a weight loss deal, so we won't call him Thick Nick.
Yeah.
But we're gonna go with Big Nick.
There we go.
We already have a Thick Nick anyway.
That's right.
So,
One too many, if you ask me.
is that about it for today, guys?
I think so.
So
I'm gonna go guess that. Who do you think won the seriousness number?
what do you guys?
I think we're under it. I
Yeah.
think Tommy got it because you had the low number.
Really, you think so? I was gonna say I thought it was used more than I would have guessed.
I hope that.
I don't
I
know.
hope that.
I don't know.
Here's what I'm gonna
Hard
do.
to say.
I'm gonna say seriously, with a lot of seriousness, that this last time that I
you just
said
pad
the word
the stats
serious was enough to first seriously get me over Tommy's number and closer to me.
Are you
Seriously.
serious?
Yeah.
You can't seriously be doing that.
Now Tanner's fluffing it. because he does have a high number.
This needs to end.
So fuck. All right. So thanks a lot for listening, everybody. Make sure you go to the website. That's the best way to support the podcast. Go to Massenomics.com. There you're going to find our store. You'll be able to find the Weekend Warrior shirt and also the hat.
We're selling a lot of hats.
The hat is available in black, fitted, in navy. Is that a navy?
Yep, navy blue.
Navy blue fitted, and in the camo
Yep.
fitted.
And if you see they're in stock, I would not wait to order it because it is something we are running out of stock of and reordering and
Pretty
so if you want
regularly.
one,
And there's some delays in getting things, so we're trying to keep them in stock. So if you see it, time
and
to
you
get
want
it.
it. Yep.
Yeah.
And we do have a new deal now where if you're ordering and getting shipped, all orders over $50 qualify for free shipping. So take advantage of that. Any other order is a $5 flat rate, but over $50 will be free.
Yeah. So, and also while you're there, you'll be able to find all of our articles and videos and all that other stuff that we hardly have referenced during this episode of the podcast. You can scroll to the bottom of the page too. Please sign up for our newsletter. Mainly because if we drop a new super kick-ass item, our people that are subscribed to our newsletter are able to get that information first. We had a few people who were really gunning for the new lift hat, the Weekend Warrior hat that we're able to get in before we sold out because of the newsletter. So that's the way to do it. Also, make sure you subscribe to Massenomics on YouTube. That's youtube.com/Massenomics. All our videos from the Arnold are still there. What else we got? Facebook, subscribe, like Massenomics on Facebook. And the rest of us, we can all be found on Instagram. So, I'm Tyler. You can find me at Tyler F. and Stone. And Tommy.
You can find me at Tomahawk_D.
And Tanner.
The official Massenomics Instagram page at Massenomics.
Do you guys feel slighted that Tanner gets to hold the official Massenomics
Yeah, what
page?
the hell?
Well, you get to hold the official Tomahawk_D.
Well,
page.
true.
The,
True, yeah.
the official.
That's probably cooler
The official.
anyways.
We're not
Tommy
making
DeFay page.
any _D t-shirts.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's only a matter of time.
All right. Well, thanks a lot for listening, everybody. We'll talk to you next week, and stay strong.
Bring the heat.
What was mine? Oh, fuck.
Penises. I like penises.
No, it was a good one. I don't want to dismiss it. It was a good one.
Boom goes the dynamite.
Yeah.
And boom goes the dynamite. Definitely not going to
You just heard the Massenomics podcast. With your ears,
We did it.
you're welcome. Check us out on Facebook, find us on Instagram at Massenomics, and make sure you visit Massenomics.com and buy some of that sweet Massenomics gear. From your friends at Massenomics Studio, home of the world's strongest podcast, stay strong.